What's happening, Wisdom Warriors? Back at it for another video. Yeah, yeah. How's everybody doing? Happy Sunday, wherever you are in the world. Hope you're doing well. Hope you got. Hope you're just loving life, loving on yourself, giving yourself as much self care as you possibly can, treating yourself with love and kindness and care and compassion in these times that we're going through on this planet, plane, Earth, whatever you want to call it. So today's Sunday. I officially finished my fast. It was pretty amazing, man. Again, I can tell you right now, I notice an immense amount of emotion, and you can't really hide from anything. I feel like with food and with eating, you can eat emotionally and things like that, but I feel like when you fast, everything is kind of amplified, but in a good way. And I feel like it also uh, helps you to detach from food, from all kinds of different things in the external, which alleviates like any kind of addictions or just things that we can get addicted to. Netflix, food, chocolate, sweets. I mean, I loved sweets. I loved ice cream. I loved all of it, but I didn't eat it on a constant. I would always rotate, but still, I was still eating it a lot. And kind of why I feel like partly why I've had to shift my diet due to mold and Lyme. Uh, you know, um, it was almost like my higher self was like, "Yo, you're not on the right track. You're not on," and that kind of leads me where I'm heading with this, which I spoke about on the short. It kind of I was going off course of the paths that that I had chose previ- privy to coming and incarnating. And I believe that we do choose our paths, in for the most part. And our main thing is that we connect to divine, we connect to source. And when we are essentially out of alignment or going off course, the universe nudges us with sometimes a traumatic health challenge, which is a lot of what happens, I've found. And not everybody awakens to that and gets the picture and the hint like, oh, wait a minute, I'm off course. Like, oh no, what am I doing? Like maybe I need to look at what I'm eating. Maybe I need to look at that I'm doing too much people pleasing. Maybe I got to look at that I'm giving too much of me to the external world. Maybe I'm not going in enough. Maybe I'm not sitting with my emotions or meditating or spending time with myself. And the more and more we give to the external, and the more and more we give away our energy and power and people please and all these different things, the more and more most of us that I've heard stories from have health challenges, especially empaths and, people that are just, I watched my father have multiple challenges, and he he gave of himself all the time, but then didn't give back to himself. And I feel like the third time that he experienced cancer, the first time was extremely challenging in 1997 when he had it. And they gave him a week to live, the doctors, and he made it. And then he had cancer again in 2011, which they said was a very bad one. It was still Hodgkin's, but it was a bad one. It could have taken his life, and he made it. And then 2022 was the next one, which took his life. And Again, I'll talk more about it on the channel as we go on, but I don't want to get into it in this video because there's a purpose of this video, and I want to get into like, do we choose our path, and what do you guys feel about that? I would love to hear you drop your thoughts in the comments and what I have to say, because this is my journey and my belief system. And, having spoken to people that have had near death experiences, not only people I know, but also listening to ones, and then also my father, who experienced one back in the 90s. And, but I believe deep down that we choose our path prior to coming here. And we have multiple ways of exiting. And these challenges that we go through are the universe or our higher self essentially knocking at us saying, hey, are you waking up? Hey, wake up, wake up. You're not on the right path. You're going down the wrong path. I got that knock with the 2x4 upside the back of my head in 2017, in 2020. I even think multiple times in the early 2000s. I even think in the mid 2000s. I've had many, many times because I went off course, like massively went off course. I was indulging in excessive partying, excessive junk food, excessive drug use, uh, you name it. I've done it. And that's why I come here on this channel with a lot of life experience and a lot of stuff that I've experienced in my life, which I'm going to share as time goes on. And, in depending on what the topic is and if I feel called to and how I feel and the alignment I feel in it. But I come on here authentically and truthfully and transparently with to just share, spread awareness, and just share my life experiences and what I've learned and how I've grown through them. But a lot of people, like my dad said, they don't learn, they never learn. There's a lot of us that don't learn from, I mean, you could have a week to live. This third time, he wasn't told by the doctors, but they said that it could be, he could get through it. But he didn't want to go down the traditional medical way, which was chemo and steroids and all these different things that he didn't want to do. He was not going to go down that path again. And he was completely resistant of it. So he's trying alternative methods, but he wasn't changing like they expected him to change. And that meant spending with time with himself, going into nature. But he continued to do what he continued to do his entire life, which was give his energy away and spend time on the phone talking for hours with people, trying to help them instead of helping himself. And even his last few months, he was helping others that had challenges, because that's what he came here to do. And I know he did, but he didn't even realize that that is why he came here for that. I believe his purpose was to serve and to help, especially with all the life challenges that he experienced. Mind you, that wasn't all he went through. He broke his jaw, which I'll talk about that another time. There's many other things, and it'll blow your mind when you hear how it happened. And these were all wake-up calls, but he didn't see it that way. He didn't see it that way. They were his higher self basically doing these things for the betterment of himself, to make sure that he stays on his path, on course. And he wasn't. He was completely out of alignment. He was in separation. He was in divide. He had all of that mentality, and his higher self was trying to get him in alignment. And that's why I was guided to take the certification for QHHT hypnosis and do sessions on him. And I was guided to get him to sessions, and I was guided to get him to the med beds, which we did. And I'll talk more about that as time goes on. And, to get him to the Akashic records. He wouldn't have done all these things if it wasn't for me bringing these things to him, which I was just a messenger. And, but I do believe we have our path chosen, and the free will that we have, which is very little, in my opinion. I feel like it's for the free will is to get us back on track, but a lot of us use the free will in the wrong way. We use it to exercise addictions and numbing out and running and all these different things instead of using it to realign ourselves. Because when you're in alignment, you're thriving, you're in flow, I mean, like the universe is going to give you everything and be in sync with you. And it's going to feel, life is just going to feel amazing and smooth. When we're not on that path and we're not going with what we feel internally, and we're hanging out with people we shouldn't, and we're hanging out with, just going to things that we shouldn't be doing, drinking excessively, excessive addictive foods, all kinds of stuff that addicted to sex, overdoing it, overdoing everything, which is something that I struggled with for many years in my life, which was balance. I always was either all the way to the right or all the way to the left, never really in the middle. And that was a downfall for me that really took me down the wrong path. And I knew I was going down the wrong path, but there wasn't full awareness there. It's like, it's as if you go to, at least I've had this. I don't know about you guys, but I've gone to the store and, with my awareness, I remember feeling certain types of way when I would go pick up something that I probably shouldn't be eating or drinking. And I'd be looking around and I'd be like, subconsciously, I'd hide it underneath other stuff in my basket so nobody would see it. And so that was just kind of a sign that, hey man, you don't eat that, don't buy that. And then I'd end up buying it. I'd maybe eat a little bit of it. I'd get criticism from my dad saying, why are you eating that garbage? And then a little while later, I'd be like, something would click and I'd end up throwing it in the trash. And so there's a prime example of how we do things, and our intuition and our gut is actually telling us, no, hey, don't be going in that fast food line at that fast food joint. And we do it anyway. And we eat it anyway, because out of pain that we're experiencing, out of emotions, emotional eating, addictive patterns, trauma, whatever it may be, a lot of us use food and sex and masturbation and all those kinds of things to, not to say that they're bad, but overdoing it excessively. And you know who you are, and we all have been there. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just expressing my journey. Okay. So again, please don't come with hate in the comments. I'm telling you my journey and my experiences and what I've gone through. And whether you like it or you don't, or it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. I'd love to hear your story. I'd love for you to comment on what you think of the video and how it's helped you, and what your thoughts on if we choose our path. And I'm definitely going to do multiple parts to this topic, because I feel like there's a lot to talk about. And we can definitely deep dive and go down this rabbit hole, because I love it. It's an amazing topic. I love all of that past life regression, near death experiences. We're going to get into a lot of that on this channel. As I said, this channel is everything. There's not just one thing we talk about. We talk about everything, and just certain things I won't speak on here because of censorship and things like that. So, there's certain things I will hold back from talking about, but that'll be on another endeavor that I'm working on with somebody. So, This is more about my, even though that is also about my experience and and the other person's experiences, and it's only our life experiences, same as this channel. I will not talk about things I have not gone through or experienced. So, with that being said, I, you know, will not do that. And that's not what this channel's about. This channel's about me and my experiences and what I've gone through and how they've affected me and how they've changed my life. And I wouldn't have it any other way with what I've went through, as difficult and painful and hard that these last 44 years have been. I wouldn't have it any other way because I'm able to come on here and on these other platforms that I'm creating, that uh, you know that give me the space to help others. And not everybody can make it through these really hard challenges and be on the other side to talk about it and to help others and serve. And I feel like I was brought here to do that in this life. And of course, I would love to be asleep and just eating all kinds of junk and having tons of sex and and all of that like pleasurable instant gratification stuff. But I found that that instant gratification doesn't serve you for the long term. It's only, man, that feels good right now, those orgasms, but they're gone in 30 seconds or a minute or 5 minutes, whatever it is, and then you're on with your day, you know. uh, and so, and that piece of chocolate that you eat, it tastes good while you're chewing it, and then when you swallow it, it's gone and you release the dopamine, and then an hour later you've moved on from it, but you're ready to have the next piece of chocolate. It's just an addictive patterning that is not healthy, and it doesn't serve us for the long term. It's just instant gratification, and so yeah, like I said, there's a lot to give away on this channel. I've been through a lot, and not only have I been through a lot, but I've seen a lot with my family. I've experienced a lot with my family. I've experienced a lot with the medical industry, all kinds of stuff. As I said, there's things I'm not going to talk about on here. You'll have to, once we announce the launch of our officially of the podcast and the other things we're going to be doing, I will drop it in the description, and uh, I will surely bring it to you guys and let you know. But getting back to choice, and I feel like 100% that we choose our path, and we I believe also that we have multiple paths that we choose, and also multiple exit points of death, and how we exit that. Our us exercising free will can also alter the way we transition on. Um, and I believe that um, we choose multiple ways so that how it's going to affect people around us and just the planet in general, depending on what kind of how you show up in the world. If you could be like, one of these huge influencers, and and a lot of people know you, and so you have multiple, like more than 100 ways to exit, so that depending on how you want to affect people around you, and so again, I'm going to go deeper into this. I kind of was talking about other stuff, and I'm going to try to get right to the point in the next video, part two, because we're kind of running into 20 minutes. But I do believe we have chosen our path, and then what happens is, once we start veering off that path or multiple paths, our higher self will kick in, and they'll give us small nudges to say, "Hey, you're going off track. You're going off track. You'll get like maybe physical symptoms. Things will happen in your external. But if you don't pick up on it, and those patterns keep happening, like I was talking about in I think yesterday's video or the day before about dating and how I was dating, and which I want to talk about that too a lot. That's going to be another video about the dating scene and all of that kind of jazz and the pattern beat. And I was getting warning signs, that was meant to make me look back inward through those dates and through those women, but I didn't really see that till now. It took me many, many years to see that, and a lot of growth and a lot of deep inner work on myself, and a lot of pain and suffering and all kinds of stuff. And so uh, this journey hasn't been easy, but I can definitely say that I've learned a lot and I've grown a lot, and I can definitely say that I wouldn't change it or ask for something different. Although I would love for my dad to be still here in human form, but as I spoke about on previous videos, I know that he's with me all the time. I don't sense his energy really strongly, but I know he's around, and I know that I can call on him anytime. And I know that Wednesdays I'm going to ask to connect with him even more. I'll speak about that too, and why Wednesdays and why that happened. And, um, so do we have, do we choose our path? I believe so, yes. I feel that in my gut. I feel that intuitively. 100% it resonates with me. And I feel like we plan it out. We plan out who's going to come in and who's going to leave, and who this person's going to walk in at this time to do this and do that. And I do believe that. I feel that. And, again, what I speak about today doesn't mean that a month from now I will think and believe the same thing. We're always changing every minute, every second. And what I believe now does not mean a year from now I'll believe the same thing, or a month or 2 months. I'm always changing. I'm always going deeper down these rabbit holes. I am a truth seeker through and through. And, I couldn't come here and not explore these things and go down these rabbit holes. Like I just couldn't, and I couldn't see myself just numbing out to TV all the time and gaming and all that. Although I did do that at a younger age, because in the 90s and early 2000s, man, this stuff that we're seeing now was not accepted then. It was even worse. And it was even harder to fit in. And now there's so many people waking up and realizing these things, and you can talk on platforms with different people about these things, and that we couldn't do then because we didn't have internet, and we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have all these ways to connect. So I feel like it was much harder in that sense. But then with the technology now, it's harder because it's so addictive. It's so addictive, your phone, and you just sit there on the damn phone. And today I went walking in nature, and this, I would say, I'm gonna say honestly, she was pretty, very very pretty girl, female, uh, dark dark complexion, like brunette, which I'm attracted to, uh, and uh, but anyway, she had her like headphones on over her ears, and she walked right past me, and I waved, and she looked up and then waved, but then goes right into her phone and looks down, and just the whole time walked past. No interaction, no connection, just your headphones on, and just like I don't know, man. It's kind of sad, because actually, as I passed her, then I started talking to myself, and I was like, man, you know, we started leading in this direction before 2020, but then 2020 made it even worse of a disconnect from each other. It was leading in that direction. I already felt it before 2020. because a lot of women were always saying they got screwed over and men were too. And, they're like, I'm done with dating and like, I'm this independent boss woman and man, I don't need nobody. Hey, I commend you for that. I've gotten finally to a point where I don't need it, but I want it. I want a relationship, so I can just do life with somebody that understands me and I understand them, and we just have a great time together. And we also serve humanity, and and just in some way, But that's not my. I'm not. I don't expect that to be the case, but I would like somebody that I get along with, and I something was just flying in here, man. I don't know what the hell that was. Unless I'm just seeing things, man. Shit. Um, so, you know, yeah, it was kind of like, I don't know, just maybe I just was seeing things, man. Or maybe it was like from another timeline, you know, some black thing like I saw fly. Anyways, um, so getting back to finish off the video, I believe we choose our path and multiple paths that we can go on because our timelines are always changing, and so and at the same time, the reason we have these challenges are to bring us back on that path, to get us back on that path. Some of us don't make it, like my father, you know, but he had the choice. The Akashic records said it. Just like, the doctors told him he had a week to live, right? But he lived 25 years later. The Akashic records told him you have 3 months if you don't change. He came out of there like a ghost, but it didn't seem like he fought and changed. Like I kept telling him, you got to change, you got to change, you got to change more than you're changing. He was changing, but he wasn't changing enough that they wanted him to, clearly, or his higher self, And he was also having difficulty in the hypnosis sessions when I was doing them with connecting to his higher self, So all these things were signs, but I wasn't seeing the signs, or I didn't want to see the signs, So unfortunately, but anyways, that's for another video. I'm gonna go deeper into this. Do we have? Do we? Do we choose our path? There's gonna be a part two and probably multiple parts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I went off topic a little bit, but I know somebody needed to hear what I had to say because there's no reason why I come on here and I feel called to say what I'm saying, and there's a reason for it because somebody needed to hear the messages I had to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you all so much, from my heart to yours. We got this, guys and girls and females and males. I love you all so much. Please comment below if you like this video, if you want me to do a part two, what you think about us choosing our path, and what your feelings are on it. I would love to hear your comments. Let's start a conversation in the comments. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, comment. Do it all, please. You're going to help this channel grow, and we can get it out to more people, and we could create this beautiful community that we all can share each other's experiences together. I would love to hear if you had a near-death experience and what it was like, and if you're willing and want to share it in the comments, man. You're going to help so many others. I love you all so much. Thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Take care. Let's go, Wisdom Warriors. We got this.